Yeah. This is Abba Leiter. I'm going to continue from the last video what we started to ask questions about the temple and what we can learn from it, etc. And I'm going to read to you, literally read to you, how the Rambam continues this issue in the guide. Okay? We know, he says, that they built temples to their gods. And they were related to a certain star or whatever in the cosmos, or as being worshipped, and being able to do or undo things for people. Therefore, lefichach, nitztavinu ono livnois hechel lo yisala v'natzniya bo et ha'oron asher bo shnei luchas hakolim anochi v'lo yiyalacho. And therefore we were commanded to build a temple, and in it there would be an ark, the Ark of the Covenant between God and the Jewish people. And in that ark there would be the 10 Commandments, and in those 10 Commandments they would begin with Anochi v'lo yilacho. I am the Lord your God, and you shall have no other before you. Okay? That's the first thing that he starts off. He then goes on to state, V'kvo yadua ki yesod hadeya b'nevua kodem ledeya b'toro. Again, Kvo yadua ki yesod hadeya b'nevua kodem ledeya b'torah. The first thing you must know is that there's something called nevuah. And that is prior to knowing that there is a Torah which comes from Hashem. Okay? And the 7th parak of the, how should we say, the Yalach HaZokah, the general halacha for everybody, compiled by the Rambam, the 14 books, he emphasizes over there that the nevuah is the yesod upon which things are built, okay? He says, he goes on, if you do not know, Kiim lo yehi novi, if there is no novi, there is no prophet, speaking from and in God's name, in other words, ein Torah. There's no Torah. There's no instruction. There's no Torah. And we must also, with that alongside it, ve'ein hachazon bo lenovi kiyem be'emtsoyes hamalach. This nevuah that comes from the novi, speaking in the name of God, comes through a malach, comes through an angel, a messenger from God. Vayikro malach Hashem. Okay? He quotes a verse by Avram. Vayomer lo malach Hashem. He quotes also again that God was speaking to someone in Bereishis. And you can find these expressions in the multitudinous amounts in the Torah. And even Moshe Rabbeinu, the beginning of his nevuah was through a malach. There was an intermediary of a malach, and through that intermediary he started his nevuahship. Okay? Vayar elo malach elo belabas eish. What do we see? The Rambam says the reality of malachim is kodem to the knowledge that there is nevuah, and the nevuah, that knowledge of nevuah, is kodem, it is prior to the knowledge of Torah. Now the tzava, the tzvoyim, those who believed in worship, being idols, etc., in the times of Abraham, etc., they didn't know about the reality of the gods. And they thought that the first being, which was permanent and forever, were the spheres and the stars and all the powers, that they imagined coming from that, which would deliver to them, their hatzlacha, their well-being, or their not well-being. And these entities in their mind, these realities in their mind, would cause a certain hashpah, a certain overflow to come to these images that they created down here, that they found in the temples. The people found them in the temples, and they worshipped them. And the trees, okay? The asherot, as they're called. And they thought that these entities, that they could actually touch and feel the trees and the stars, or understand, see them, They felt that they would get some kind of a message from them, okay? And eventually it would come out of their armpits or wherever, okay? What will help, what won't help, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, etc., etc. Okay. These are the Nevi'ei Habal and the Nevi'ei HaSherah that we learn about in the Torah. But then the truth became known, even before Abraham to some degree, and with him in greater degree, through demonstrations literally showing the falsehood of these things, that there was a motzi she'ena guf, v'lo koach beguf, there was a being without a body, okay, and not a power within a body. And this is the true God, Aloha Be'emes, and He's one. And then there are other powers that are not bodies, but He brings upon them a certain hashpah, a certain overflow from His being, and they include, besides this overflow of Him, these beings without bodies, angels, which He has created. And all of these things, which are outside the spheres and the stars, we know that they are the element which is menaveh, which carries the nevuah. That's their mission, not the other missions of some of the other entities, to the Nevi'im. And they are not giving things to the slomim that are down here that they make in their temples, or the asherot that they see growing out of the ground. In any case, the Rambam goes on to say, we've now the correct structure, we have the correct girsa. All these stories, all these errors, all these imaginings have led you and have impressed Avodah Zorah into your being and for your generations that is all false. This is the correct Seder Hadvorim, okay? You have angels created by God and the shefa that He has given to them to give over to the Novi, and the Novi will then impart it to the public, and at a certain stage that will become the Torah of the Jewish people, and the physical manifestation of this can be seen in the temple, okay? In the Luchas, the Orn, which is our covenant with God, and upon whom it is inscribed, Anochi v'lo yelacho. Okay? In other words, we are impressing on the idea, the reality of angels, okay? In the mind of the public. that this should be a shkofa that they understand. And the understanding which is second only to the reality, the being of there is a Rabbeinu Shalom, which is incorporeal. Okay? And that he is the ultimate source of Nevuah and Torah. And through this, we negate totally the falsehood of Avodah Zorah. Okay. This is one of the great lessons that is physically embodied in our holy temple. Okay? And even when we find that there are angels, 2 of them on top of the Oren, okay? That's to let us know angels can be more than one. They are not God. God is something else. Shema Yisrael, listen Israel. Let's make sure we understand this very clearly. Hashem, who is Elokeinu, is Hashem Echad. Okay? Let's make no mistakes. The angels can be more than one. They can be many. But God himself is one. The God who is one and who is poyol the entire Metzius, as he says in the Sefer HaMitzvahs. Anechi Hashem Elokecha, he's the Sibbe who is poyol kol HaMetzius. He's the one who took us out, who is poyol from all the things, the good things that happened, that chose and implanted the chosenness of the Jewish people on a particular mission and a particular destiny and no other.